it's an incredible amount of work you've done. Thank you for that honest approach. And if there are people involved, please come and have that conversation with us. Thanks, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. And again, thanks to you, Chris, for the presentation, but actually probably more importantly for all the work that you're doing with the on-call firefighting team kind of to now and obviously the plans for what's coming next. And please just let us know through the Combined Authority if there are wider issues that we can help to facilitate, particularly in terms of the wider work that David Scaife, the Mayor, and I are doing in terms of employers and the kind of the Combined Authority. We're really keen to do everything we can to be the best on-call firefighter service in the country. So anything we can do to support the work that you're doing, just let us know. That is brilliant. Thank you ever so much for that, Chris. Please feel free to stay on the meeting, but if you have other things you need to get on with, you don't feel obliged to stay if you have other things to do. The rest of the team, I'm sure, will pick up the stuff that's coming up in the rest of the meeting.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I will depart. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, we're just going to briefly touch on a couple of issues in the spotlight section, and then we'll move on to the third-party report section. The couple of things that we obviously had we had a media briefing for the Langdale incident a couple of hours ago now. That update is being put in the public domain, I think, today. So therefore, if people have questions or want that update on the Langdale and Farlingdales more fire from the summer, that information is going in the public domain as part of the wider work through the Local Resilience Forum. JD, do we need to say anything further on that here? I'm not sure that we do. But did you want to add anything?
No, other than as you've mentioned there, that we have found that what the cause was believed to be cooking or naked flame within that area. I would just give Deputy Mayor thanks to our fire investigation team and the wider Local Resilience Forum who supported us in that. An inordinate amount of work went into there, over 150 hours, and they've done an amazing job to find and give us that solution. So thanks to the team for that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a really comprehensive piece of work. I had a couple of questions. One was just about the community risk management plan and just what the work was that was underway to implement the two changes where I'd sought additional assurances. So around the automatic fire alarm attendance policy, where my concern was about response times in rural areas, and around the water bowser. Just anything you can add on those two, given that community risk management plan was published at the end of last year.
Certainly. So those both pieces of work that within Tom's portfolio. So Tom will give you an update. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Deputy. So I'm just having microphone trouble there. So yeah, so the automatic fire alarm policy that was consulted on with the CRMP, we're working on a engagement strategy that we're hopefully going to launch around April time, making sure with the concerns raised around making sure we get suitable amount of engagement with responsible persons and the alarm receiving centres, focusing on a risk-based approach and those furthest away from an emergency response. So we'll be activating that in April, then looking to go live with the changes June, July time, ensuring that there has been enough time to undertake that engagement. In relation to the water bowser, there's been a working group put together to make sure we've got the requirements from the people using the most. That has now been collated together through the project manager and the lead for that piece of work. That's now gone to the within the National Fire Chiefs Council. We have a framework for fleet, and the framework owner for that, we've sent those requirements over just to give that the diligence to make sure that we've not missed anything. At that point, then we'll look to go out for tender for that work. Further around water provision, large scale water provision, we're still furthering up the regional MOU with the Water Authority, and we're starting to work with North Yorkshire County Council on a model similar to what they do around their winter roads plan, where we can set up a retainer provision for people to undertake that ability to be able to provide us that large scale water if required at an incident, such as what we experienced last summer. And then finally, a piece of work just ensuring that with us using some external providers for that large scale water provision, that we have the right suitable couplings. So we do some work with some of the larger water providers throughout last summer's wildfire to ensure that we have the right suitable couplings to ensure that we can provide them water from any pumping appliances required, but equally vice versa, they can supply our firefighters on the front line when required.
And just so sorry to ask what is probably quite a stupid question, but does that work a bit like mobile phone chargers? If you don't have the right one, the whole thing just doesn't work. So you've got to have the right fitting as well as the water. You need the right way of getting it from one thing to the other. Yes,
very much so. And what you find on industrial and agricultural Bowsers is slightly different to what we use couplings wise in relation to firefighting. So it's ensuring that we have those right connections, and that's a good way of describing it, really, the suitable charger for your electrical device.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's really helpful, because actually I know that we're looking at kind of diversifying the kind of partnership approach to making sure that we can get water where we need it, but we also need to make sure that we've got the right tech kind of equipment, I guess, to that links those things together. How big is the range of stuff that, I mean, you know, mobile phone charger world, there's kind of 3 main types, isn't there? But I'm gonna lay a bet that it's a bit more than that in water Bowser connection to fire engine terms.
It is. So there is predominantly, and I've been on a learning journey with this myself. So yeah, there's predominantly a couple of main sort of power couplings that predominantly the industry use. So we'll make sure that frontline appliances have those available, and then the plan is for high volume pumping stations where the agricultural industrial Bowsers may want to be filled up from on a more regular basis. They will have a suite of couplings, so hopefully we're covering all eventualities within those stations. Okay, that's really helpful, and I think it might be something that may be worth us making some representations to the LGA around industry standards, around some of that, if the kind of world is as diverse as it may be, a bit like other things where actually the industries won't realise how the unintended consequences of their design may have on other things. So, but thank you for that. That's really helpful. My my other question was about the road safety partnership, which I fear, Tom, maybe another one for you, was just to provide an update on the partnership and where the changes around the partnership had got to in terms of putting the partnership on the stable financial footing, which I think is from the start of the next financial year. Yeah, so we're continuing to work on that sustainability exercise of the road safety partnership. As for fire services, obviously we're right at the heart of the road safety partnership, but the 2 E's that we sort of concentrate on is the engagement and the education. So in line with the CRMP and suitably with the road safety strategy coming out, we're ensuring that within the prevention strategy, road safety is well built into there, so we can undertake and deliver all the key education and engagement activities within the prevention team.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. That was it for me on that one, so we can move on to the third party reports section. Damien, I think we're back to you for the next set of slides. Great.
Yep, it's me, Deputy Mayor again. Can you
Thank
see
you.
the slides?
I can, thank you.
Yep, so the HMI CFRS inspection update. With regards to the misconduct handling report, as you can see, we've been moving through these. We've had a number of recommendations that were proposed to close. We've requested further information that has now been received through our Risk and Assurance Board, and at the next Risk and Assurance Board we will be looking to close the 5 recommendations that you can see on screen that are in green, and we've asked for additional quality assurance and some additional actions for recommendation 2 and recommendation 4, but they're well on track now to be closed off as well. So hopefully, I think if the next one is in April, we will be where a lot more of that section is in blue that we've closed off, and hopefully the recommendation 2 and 4 will be in green, showing that we're very close to closing off all of the recommendations from the misconduct handling report.
And is there anything else you can add around the work that the service has been doing around the framework for change in the kind of standards of behaviour kind of space?
Certainly within some of this. So obviously, rather prior to the misconduct report by HMI, there was a culture and values report where we closed off all of those recommendations. Some of that continuing work that we're doing around the framework for change and the culture monitor that's been working with the University of Huddersfield, that will go as further evidence from these. I think that will be used more, Deputy Mayor, for when we're next inspected fully, which is due to be at some point in 2027. Obviously, one of the main sections within the report of the main reports that we get is around culture and values, and we'll have huge amounts of evidence to be able to put in front of the inspectors with regards to that work that we've done across the organisation and in collaboration with the university on how we're trying to define culture within the organisation and then improve that from an academic perspective.
Okay, that's great. No more questions on that one. Thank you.
Thank you. That's just quite a quick one. So then pretty soon we'll be moving into, this will be our main focus again. These were the 7 areas for improvement that was put into our last inspection. All of those have got agreed senior responsible owners, as you can see there, and we are working through these areas for improvement. I believe one of them already is being proposed to close at the next meeting that we have. All of them, we've set a target of August this year for all of these areas for improvement to be closed prior to HMI coming in. At the HOP debrief following the last inspection, HMI's Chief of Staff and their service liaison lead offered a visit into service to look over these. Now we've got a clear action plan on how we're going to address each of the 7 areas for improvement. We are going to invite the inspection team back in just to make sure that the actions that we've identified to close these, we're not missing anything. So we're not gonna sort of miss that opportunity, given that it was offered by HMI CFRS, just to make sure everything that we've identified to close these recommendations is everything that they would have expected and we're not missing anything.
Yeah, that's great. I don't have any questions on that. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is the strategic timeline as we move into the next round of inspections. We still haven't had a date for our inspection. When we looked at it initially, the first few services did have a date and we knew our position within the schedule, but we didn't have a date. It could be anything from sort of February, March 2027 to sort of August if there's any slippage on their side. So obviously that's why we've looked at the area for August to make sure we're well ahead of where we need to be prior to the inspection coming in. We're not just looking at the areas for improvement. We are now the inspection team and our service liaison officer are working with the senior responsible owners to review all of the characteristics of good that HMI set out, just so we can ensure that we're matching all of our evidence, all of our activity to meeting the characteristics of good that are defined by HMI.
Great. Don't have any questions on that either.
Thank you. So we were fortunate, or you can say fortunate, to be one of the 3 fire and rescue services that were selected to be part of a joint thematic into cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a growing risk and sits within our corporate risk register. So we had the HMI inspection team on site in January. It was a joint inspection, so police also, North Yorkshire Police also had the inspection team. We did have a hot debrief following the inspection. We're expecting the report at some time late March, April for us to have a view on. Like all reports, we'll get sight of that under embargo to be able to check if there's any factual errors within the report, and then the report should be coming out nationally in June. It isn't a report which will be graded, so there will be no graded judgments for North Yorkshire Fire or Police, but it will be a series of recommendations and comments about the state of cybersecurity across police and fire as a sort of whole for the sector.
Great, thank you. I think that's just one to keep an eye on, isn't it, given that it's going to be coming in the coming months. But thanks to you and other colleagues for the work that will have had to go into that happening at the start of the year. It does feel like it is one of those issues that is growing in terms of pressures across both emergency services. So in some ways, as you say, it's probably helpful to have had an early inspection, even if it maybe doesn't feel like that when it's actually happening. So thank you for that. I don't have any other questions, but obviously that is one to watch.
Yeah, certainly. And one of the final slides, obviously the state of fire was published. I think we've mentioned this previously. North Yorkshire got a positive, North Yorkshire Fire got a positive mention for the way in which we'd approached our areas for improvement and the fact that we'd closed off the 24 areas for improvement. Since then, we've actually had an internal audit. Our internal audits are very robust. They go into significant detail. One of the audits that they've looked at is on how we track, manage and control HMI CFRS recommendations, and it was really pleasing and sort of demonstrates the efforts of the team, that no management actions, we received substantial assurance and there were no management actions that came out of the internal audit for the way in which we manage HMI CFRS recommendations. So that was hugely pleasing for the team, all the effort. They are very, very diligent, very robust to make sure that the senior responsible owners, if they say they've closed something, they need evidence for it, and it just demonstrates that the processes that we've got in place are working. And like I say, yeah, that were really pleasing that we got that substantial assurance audit report.
And do we, in terms of those state of fire reports, obviously it's good for our own good practice, but do we also look for the good practice from other places?
Certainly, yes, we do. And there is a positive practice portal that's hosted by, I think it's jointly hosted by the National Fire Chiefs Council and HMI CFRS. We look across all of those positive practice that come out. This round of inspections, there's a couple of new areas that they're looking into a bit more, which they haven't done. So when the reports come out, they're shared across the organisation. We look across that detail, try and identify areas that have been picked up elsewhere, just to ensure that we're meeting the requirements. So certainly this time there is an increased focus on governance. There's also an increased focus on leadership. The Chief Fire Officer also attended the external reference group this week with HMICFRS, which is really positive for us as a service, because that's a small number of Chief Fire Officers that are getting an understanding of what the future of inspection looks like for us, and obviously the more sighted we are, the better we can prepare for the next rounds of inspection.
Brilliant, thank you. I think is that the end of the slides?
It is.
It is, great. Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time this afternoon. That I think is, we've got no public questions, I don't think, today. So there's no wider debate to have. The next meeting for the North Yorkshire Police Service is on the 19th of March, and the next meeting for North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service, I think, is the 16th of April. So if people have got questions that they meant to put in for today, they can do it for then, or they can raise questions at any point that we can get written answers to by using the info email address, which is on the Combined Authority website. Thank you everyone for your time this afternoon, and I'll see you at the meeting in April.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Deputy Mayor.